Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are finally taking our first look at the new Tier 8 development blog that was just released. So we finally have some solid concrete proof of everything that's coming in the coming update with Tier 8. So let's take a look for it. Strive for Greatness, Tier 8 development blog. Legends, the release of Tier 8 ships is drawing even closer, so we wanted to share a few more details with you before everything changes. Below you will find a reminder about the economy, insight into the temporary matchmaking situation, info about what ships lead up to the new ones, and a small but comprehensive fact. Economy changes. Service fee reduced from 101,250 to 91,125 for researchable ships of Tier 6. Service fee reduced from 136,000 to 122,400 for researchable ships of Tier 7. Service fee reduced from 136,000 to 95,200 for premium ships of Tier 7. And a credit bonus for Tier 7 premium ships increased from 15% to 55%, which is ridiculous. Temporary matchmaking changes. Due to the fact that the Tier 8 population will initially be low, matchmaking will temporarily allow Tier 7s, 8s, and Legendaries to be matched in the same battle. Keep in mind that this is only for a limited time, and normal matchmaking will be reverted back to +1, -1 soon after. Other tiers are ineffective. Okay, so what does this mean? This means literally exactly what it says. For a short amount of time, probably one update cycle if I had to guess, so 1 month, the Tier 7s will still be able to match up against the Legendary tier, and that is solely because there won't be that many Tier 8s initially. Once Tier 8 population increases to a point where it can sufficiently, fill out a lobby, then Tier 8 will be the only ones that can fight Legendary. So, and then it'll go back to +1, -1, meaning Tier 7s will only be able to fight Tiers 6, 7, and 8. Of course, that'll be an interesting situation. The ships. So, according to this, we have USS Maine, which I believe is a Montana-class battleship. So, that'll be an interesting look at Tier 8. See what changes come from Montana down to Maine. And then Buffalo, which is higher than the Balti. And then Allen M. Sumner, which comes after Fletcher. So, all three of these are interesting. I'm going to be pretty excited to get my hands on all three of them. I don't play the Fletcher that much, so maybe not as much this, but either way, these are all very, very good ships, I'm sure. And then Izumo, Ibuki, and Yugamo for the Japanese. Izumo is pretty well known on PC, and Yugamo is pretty well known. Ibuki, I'm not as familiar with. So I don't know if it gets used as much. I wonder if it's going to have better torp angles than the Mogami class. We'll see. And then Frederick de Grossa is pretty obvious. We know that one from PC. Rune, which is ridiculous on PC from what I understand. So that'll be an interesting one to go up against. And then Z46. And then the Russians have skipped in ahead of like the British and stuff, which is interesting. And that is the Sovietsky Soyuz, which is terrifying. That's going to be a big, bulky battleship right there. So obviously that's going to come in after the Vladdy. And then, of course, we have Dmitry Donskoy. Now, this one I'm not that familiar with on PC. So I'm looking forward to seeing that one. And then Delny. Obviously, Delny is not something I've ever even heard of. So I'm going to assume that this one isn't that big a deal on PC. Or maybe it doesn't exist. I don't know. Maine, I don't even think Maine is on PC. I could be wrong. Somebody's going to correct me. You guys know more than I do. But, yeah. So, looking forward to all these ships. We get 12 new ships coming in this next update. All tech tree, all researchable. So, you got to love it. Here are the new warships. Okay, we already went through this. We got Battleship Maine, we got Cruiser Buffalo, and Allen M. Sumner. And, of course, they follow Iowa, Baltimore, Fletcher. Izumo, Ibuki, and Yugamo follows Amagi, Mogami, and Kagero. And then Germany, you got Frederick de Grossa and Rune, and Z46 follows Bismarck, Hipper, and Z23 respectively. And USSR, you have the battleship Sovietsky Soyuz, Dmitry Donskoy, and Delny. and they follow Vladivostok, Chapayev, and Tashkent. We will start showing the stats for each of the ships soon with a series of videos, so keep your eyes peeled. So I'm going to assume that they're going to show, like, instead of each ship having its own video, they'll probably show, like, the Americans in one video, the Germans in another video, and so on and so forth. So we'll see how that goes. Tier 8 fact. How expensive will Tier 8 tech tree ships be to research? So tech tree is going to be 300,000 XP above Tier 7. However, we are boosting Tier 7 XP earnings for the remainder of the current update, so get your Tier 7s out and earn some XP, guys. What's even more lucrative is any Elite XP you have on your Tier 7 ships will be used to boost them, so it's entirely possible that some ships will unlock for you automatically. Acquiring a Tier 8 ship will cost 25 million credits. So we knew it was going to be more than the 18, and we weren't sure how much it was going to be. It's really not that big of a change. So not that big a deal. For most of us at higher tiers that have been playing for a long time, we've got the credits. When it comes to the service cost of Tier 8 ships, it's going to be 160,000 credits, just like Tier 7 a few updates ago. Tier 8 premium ships will also have a 15% bonus applied to their credit earnings, same as Tier 7 before. How will matchmaking work going forward? For the release of Tier 8, high-tier matchmaking is going to be 3 tiers wide. This means that Tier 7 will be able to see Tier 8 and Legendary ships initially. Once the Tier 8 population is large enough, matchmaking will return to normal and Tier 7 will no longer encounter Legendary tier ships. We estimate that this will take only one update. So yeah, that's basically it's a month, 5 weeks usually. We get an update in Legends every 5 weeks. Same as Weimar, will any other ship, premium or tech tree, be moved up or down a tier due to performance? Weimar's situation is very peculiar in that we grossly underestimated her performance upon release and got what we got. She should be just fine at Tier 7, fighting against Tier 6 and Tier 8s, and only facing Legendary for a short time. When it comes to other ships, we do not see any candidates for such a move, at least currently. How will Tier 8 ships be distributed besides the tech tree? Will they come a regular campaign tier? You'll definitely see some Tier 8 ships in campaigns and probably a good number of them. Otherwise, expect the usual routes of Global XP, perhaps the Bureau, Forge, and even the auction. Do you plan to rebalance Legendary tier and Tier 7 ship performance? The primary goal of Tier 8 is to slide exactly in between Tier 7 and Legendary tier, so we initially plan to work with the new ships while leaving the existing tiers alone as a whole. Specific ships will certainly continue to receive tweaks here and there. Will future early access branches have Tier 7 ship available in crates from now on? Answer is probably. Does this make the return of unavailable Tier 7 ships more likely? Jean Bart, Lenin, Wichita, Udachi. While there are some ships that we don't want to oversaturate the game with, others that have gone but haven't been forgotten are likely to make a return. Now, just based on these 4 ships alone, if I had to guess, I would say Lenin and Udachi would be up for grabs coming in a future. John Bart and Wichita are still too strong. I don't think that they want to break matchmaking with just a flood of these ships coming out. So keep that in mind. If they released the Jean Bart right now, that you would see nothing but Jean Bart's at Tier 7, I think. Same for the Wichita. Wichita is so strong for what it is. Like, it's a bolty, except it's got a better fire rate. And while it doesn't have the bolty AP still slaps. Okay, you get close with a bolt or with a Wichita, you can AP and Citadel battleships just fine, especially British battleships. But yeah, so I don't see Wichita and Jean Bart being available to come back anytime soon because it would just break matchmaking. Lenin and Udachi though, Lenin with the limited damage controls, I think the average player is just not going to do well in this. So I think that while it is a strong ship, I don't think it's OP. And then Udachi, while it used to be incredibly overpowered and still is very strong, it takes a skilled player to navigate the treacherous waters of aircraft carriers, radar cruisers, light cruisers, heavy cruisers, and sonar and radar destroyers. There's a lot more danger out there for Udachi nowadays. So, just as a thought, I don't think Udachi is going to be completely broken, and I think it has a very real chance of coming back. reload boosters and all. All right, does this mean legendary aircraft carriers are on the horizon? Yes. That's terrifying. If you don't know why, go watch PC Tier 10 carriers. Just saying. Now, I don't believe carriers should be in the game. I think they don't really have a place in the game because they end up just breaking everybody. And I will say this: our dev team has done a relatively good job up to this point, with the exception of maybe Parseval and the new Russian, of keeping things relatively balanced. The Lexington, the Shokaku, pretty relatively balanced. The Bureau projects that I've seen in games have been relatively balanced. I haven't been completely and utterly humiliated by them, so there's that. But the Parseval is still incredibly strong because of its AP bombs and its fast torpedoes and turnarounds and all of that. There's so many things that goes into Parseval's favor that even, not good carrier players can just dominate with that thing. And then, of course, the Russian has a little bit higher skill ceiling. But once you learn that thing, good God, the amount of damage that I've seen these Russian carriers pulling with those skip bombs on destroyers and battleships and cruisers, and then those torpedoes, if you can figure out how to actually aim them to where you get them to where they go, you survive with planes for a lot longer than the other carriers, because you can launch them from outside of danger zone, essentially. So you're spending basically no time inside the danger AA, and you keep more of your planes. So, yeah. Those two I could see maybe getting tweaks, but yeah, legendaries. Oof. If does this mean we're getting like armor-piercing bombs or rockets on all of the other? There's so many things that could be coming with a legendary tier that I'm not looking forward to. On the topic of more tiers, do we have any plans to introduce super ships? And the answer is no. Now again, anytime you hear no from Wargaming, it just means not yet. Just like carriers, when they originally said, "Are carriers coming to console?" They're like, "No, we don't believe the carriers should come to console because blah 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 blah. They're very incredibly hard to balance, and they just don't line up with the way we want the game to work." And lo and behold, here we are a couple of years later, and carriers are fully in the game and doing what they do. So anytime you see them say no, it just means probably not yet. Okay, keep that in mind. Do we plan to add the full 10 tiers from PC? Again, no. That would imply adding many lower tier ships that probably wouldn't receive any attention from players. So with the introduction of Tier 8, we see our vertical progression as complete. That can of course change as time goes on, but there are no such plans at the moment of writing this. Prepare for the arrival of Tier 8 and turn the tide. Now there is also a little video up here. We're going to click on it. We're going to watch it real quick, and we're going to mute it because I can't get copyright striked if I mute it. But here we have the Japanese Navy. And we have the Americans and the Russians. So, yeah, they're not... They look like they belong in the game. I'll give them that. I can't wait to see everything as it comes. But, yeah, just seeing the ships in game is pretty cool. The camera work sucks, but we'll go with it for now. But, yeah, let me know what you guys think. Oh, they're actually showing them. So Z-46, the Delny, the Yugamo, the Allen M. Sumner, the Buffalo, the Rune, the Ibuki, and the Dmitry Donskoy. Frederick Dragrosa, USS Maine, and Izumo, and the Savetsky Soyuz. A little bit of glory shots as everybody gets sunk. Love to see it. And then they get blown out of the water. 12 new tech tree ships. Yeah, we get it. All right. So you guys will have to let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Are you guys excited as I am? I know I am. But anyway, Tier 8's coming. Lots of new ships, lots of new content. Looking forward to it. And if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.